There's so many things I've got to do. I can't just be lying down and resting, right? This is how many of us think. If you ever thought meditation just isn't for me, or felt like finding time for it in your already packed schedule is challenging, I've got good news. You don't have to create new things in your routine to live mindfully. And that's because mindfulness is so much more than just meditation. And you can weave it into the things you already do in your day-to-day life, like working, talking to friends, or even washing dishes. And in today's video, I'll share with you 3 practical ways to bring mindfulness into your day-to-day life. Hi, and welcome to Sense of Synergy channel. I'm Carolina, and I'm a hypnopsychotherapist, mindfulness teacher, and I have almost 10 years of working experience in the mental health sector. Over the years, I've supported countless individuals towards better mental health and well-being. And today, I'm bringing those insights and tools with me to this channel. So if you're interested in topics like personal growth and development, make sure you stick around with me. In this series, I'll walk you through 9 mindfulness attitudes. Mindfulness attitudes are more than just ideas. They're guiding principles and ways of approaching and relating to yourself, others, your experiences, and the world around you. Today, we're talking about the third of our mindfulness attitudes, and that's patience. Oftentimes, when we think about the word patience, we imagine someone who is able to stay calm during stressful times or frustrating situations, or someone who's able to wait patiently without complaining. So let's take a moment to have a look at what things or situations cause us to lose patience. Maybe you find yourself getting quite irritated when someone takes too long to answer your question in a conversation, or when they're taking longer than expected to verbalize what they want to say. Perhaps you find yourself sort of butting in a little bit from time to time and trying to speed their answer up by asking the same question and again, or just following up with another comment. Or perhaps you may feel like sometimes you lack patience towards your children, especially when you really need them to do something and they're just simply refusing to do that in that moment. Or perhaps, like many people, do you find yourself getting annoyed with long queues that are just not budging, and you're in a rush and there's like 10 people in front of you and nothing's happening? Or a traffic jam where you may be on your way to work or somewhere else and all of a sudden you're put to stop. Do you find yourself getting that rush of adrenaline, that stress, that tension, and maybe even beeping your horn or trying to think of a way of how to get ahead of that traffic, even though it may not be possible? Oftentimes, though, when we look at those situations closely and sort of step back and cool down, maybe reflect on them after the fact, we actually realize that we often lose patience not because of what that person was doing, but because of the state that we were in that moment. So perhaps there was a sense of urgency, a rush. You just needed to get somewhere, and that traffic just happened to be there at that time. Sense of urgency, or also just a sense of agitation, which that can come from many things, just stress in general, or having a lot on your mind. But it's worth thinking about, is the patience I'm losing about the person in front of me, or is it more about me and how I'm doing in this moment? Another area where we may find ourselves lacking patience is our own relationship with ourselves. Many of us struggle to have the same level of compassion and understanding to ourselves as we do with other people. And we expect ourselves to never struggle, to get over things quicker, to achieve faster, to never need to rest, to never need to slow down. When we get too sick to work, we get impatient with our bodies, frustrated that they're slowing us down because There's so many things I've got to do. I can't just be lying down and resting, right? This is how many of us think. We may often lose our patience about our goals, dreams, plans, or even the smaller things, like the everyday situations where our hopes or expectations towards situations don't match the reality, don't match what actually happens. We often feel let down and impatient about those things. We want things to happen today. We want the answers instantly. We need problems to just disappear today, not tomorrow. And we expect that changes, improvement, and progress are going to be linear and they are going to come easy without any struggles. But as we know, that's not often the case. And it's no surprise that so many of us do feel a lot of impatience in everyday life. Because in our modern world, we live around fast delivery, instant notifications, multitasking, performing, and productivity better, faster, quicker, more efficient, and constant overstimulation from so many different angles. And without noticing, we start to expect that everything in life should come in an instant way. And we carry that sense of urgency into areas of our life that do require patience, like our relationships, like our own growth, development, mental health, well-being. And this is where mindfulness comes to the rescue. Because in this chaotic, fast paced life that we live, it can create a space for calm, inner tranquility, and some peace in those everyday moments. So, the mindfulness attitude of patience teaches us how to have this willingness and openness to let things unfold in their own time. It's this active decision, active choice to stay present and allow things to happen without forcing them to happen sooner or faster. It means recognizing that not every difficult emotion resolves immediately. Not every decision needs to be rushed. Not every goal can be achieved quickly and easily. And not every situation is ours to control and take responsibility for. And here are your 3 practical ways in which you can add more of that mindful patience into your everyday life. Number 1, bring presence to everyday activities. Multitasking may feel or seem productive because you are getting more things done in a shorter space of time, right? But it actually fragments your attention and causes a level of stress and tension and agitation, and also that sense of urgency in our minds and bodies that we may not even notice. So start noticing when you're doing multiple things at once, and you may be surprised how often that actually happens. Just think about it. How frequently have you, been lying on a sofa, eating your dinner, scrolling your phone, and half watching the TV all at the same time? And eating is just one of those activities we do every single day that we rush so frequently. Think about how many times at work or even at home you eat your dinner, eat your lunch whilst talking to someone, cooking, cleaning, or doing things like scrolling or watching TV, right? And by the time you finished eating, you don't even remember what you ate, what you had for that meal, because your attention was everywhere. It was scattered all around, right? So instead of doing that, approach it with more intention, with more attention, just focused on that one task. So that's all you're doing in that moment for 10, 20 minutes, just eating, nothing else. So put aside all distractions and all the screens and notice the flavors, the taste, the smells of the food, even the temperature or the texture of the food you're eating. And also see if you can pick up on that urge to speed up, to start eating quicker. Maybe thinking about all the things that you need to do today. And it's almost like, I can't be sitting here just eating food. I need to be doing more. Those kinds of things can come up, right? And that's that sense of urgency. That's that sense of impatience. So notice that, acknowledge it, and just come back with your attention to the food in front of you. Number 2, be okay with not being okay. Oftentimes, when difficult emotions come up, we tend to get this urge to make this emotion disappear instantly, as soon as possible. And that can usually take up two different forms for different people. So we may find ourselves reacting from that emotion. So without thinking twice about it, we just feel something arising like anger, and we react from that without considering the consequences, and we may later regret some of the things we did or said. On the other side, we can also strive towards distracting ourselves from these uncomfortable emotions, like doom scrolling or just watching television, binge watching, or just taking your mind off the feelings. So, doing things not to stay in that emotion, right? But the truth is, emotions are very similar to waves. They come, they arise, and they may get really big and scary and loud, but they peak and they start to fall down and disappear and resolve. And as you're putting your attention on that emotion, on whatever's going on inside of you, notice that urge that may likely come up to redirect your attention from it, to grab your phone or go and do something or cook your dinner for the next day instead of allowing yourself to feel this. And instead, intentionally pause everything that you're doing. It may help you to close your eyes, but it's fine if you just don't as well. And just sit with that emotion. Allow it to be, honor it without rushing it, without fixing it, without changing it. And you may get surprised just how quickly emotions can dissolve when we stop running away from them, when we just face them and create space intentionally to for them to be and to dissolve in their own time. And when we do this over time, we're practicing this mindful attention to our emotions instead of reacting from them or distracting ourselves from them. Not only we're increasing our emotional awareness and resilience, but we're showing and evidencing and proving to ourselves that these emotions that may seem overwhelming or overpowering at the start, we're really able to contain them in our minds and bodies. They're not beyond us, they're not bigger than us. And we can learn how to simply hold them with patience. Number 3, understand your circle of control. For many of us, our sense of safety or stability comes from feeling in control over our life, of our everyday situations. That feeling of certainty, sense of being prepared for eventualities or challenges. And there's nothing wrong with that. This is one of the most basic human needs. The problem begins when we apply this attitude and approach to every single situation in life that we encounter. And we expect that everything will be predictable or plannable or changeable instantly. And as long as we put enough planning, thinking, and analyzing into it, we'll be able to control it. But unfortunately, as we know in life, some situations depend on a multitude of factors that may not be under our control. And this is where this can start to become problematic for us when we try to exert this control over life circumstances that may not be within our control. And it can cause us quite a lot of distress. So I would like to invite you to pick one situation that feels quite stressful in your life right now. where you feel a sense of impatience about how things are going. Draw a big circle. Inside that circle, write things that you have control in. So it can be simple things like what you wear, who do you speak to, how much effort do you put in, how you manage your emotions in that situation, or what you learn or take out from that situation. Outside of the circle, I would like to invite you to put things that are outside of your control. And again, this can be anything from political climate, the economy, the weather, to things like other people's opinions or your past mistakes. If you're interested in finding new ways to improve your health and well-being, you can get access to my free webinar, You Are How You Breathe, which talks everything about breath work and breathing techniques. All you need to do to get access to this webinar is go to my website, www.senseofsynergy.com, leave your email address there, and I'll send a link to your inbox. I'm super curious to hear what you guys think about today's mindfulness attitude. And let me know in the comments down below, how are you planning to use it in your everyday life? If you've enjoyed today's video, give it a thumbs up or even send it to someone who you think needs a little mindfulness today. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching and for being here. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.